Welcome to Canada's podcast.
Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and this is Calgary's podcast on Canada's Podcast Network. Joining me today is Sean Sauer, who is President and CEO of Canadian Energy. Thanks for joining us today, Sean.
Yeah, pleasure to be here, Mario. Thanks for having me.
Well, let me just ask, first of all, just tell me what Canadian Energy is and what you guys do.
Canadian Energy in Canada is mainly a distribution company. So we distribute all kinds of batteries and battery-related products, energy storage systems. But we also have manufacturing assets in Asia. So we have a plant in South Korea where we manufacture transportation batteries, and we have a plant in Taiwan and one in China where we build other non-transportation type batteries. So we're kind of got our foot in many different sectors.
And what kind of batteries are we dealing with here?
So mainly we participate in the transportation industry. So today, the biggest hunk of our revenue comes from starting batteries, automotive, truck, heavy duty, those types of batteries. But we also sell renewable batteries, standby power batteries, and we also build large format energy storage systems right here in Calgary under a different brand, but sort of a spin-off of Canadian Energy.
And in terms of the distribution, let's say in Canada, like how can you describe what that network is like? Where do you?
Yeah. So in Canada, sorry to interrupt. In Canada, because of the vastness of the country, it's difficult or costly to do distribution. So you need a lot of infrastructure. So we've got 19 different warehouses, basically every major center across Canada. A large network of trucks. Batteries are heavy,
Yeah.
so we support all of our customers out of those 19 facilities, right from St. John's to Victoria.
Oh, really? And what about from a retail perspective? What do you have something there?
No, we are typically a wholesale distribution company. So most all of our customers are people that resell our products. So we would sell into the, parts stores, parts chains, heavy duty equipment suppliers,
Okay.
Those types of customers.
So it's something like I go for my 2010 Elantra, need a battery. I go to Canadian Tire. Am I likely to see your product there?
Well, we wish Canadian Tire was one of our customers,
Okay.
because they're obviously a major player in the industry. But no, they're not one of our customers. But yes,
But it's
that example
concept.
yes, that concept plays out for sure.
Okay. I'm just curious of any particular branded retail outlet that you work closely with.
Yeah, so some brands that you would, that people would recognize are, Bumper to Bumper Auto Parts, Princess Auto, International Navistar Trucks, Volvo Mac, those types of customers. Those are all people that we supply.
Okay, super then. Tell me a little history here. How did you get into the battery business?
Well, if we've only got till 11, I'll try and squeeze it down into a few short. So in 1987, brother Darwin Sauer purchased a battery shop in Lethbridge, Alberta.
Okay.
We grew up on a farm down there, so we're farmers from southern Alberta. And very shortly thereafter, I got involved.
So just curious, potato farmer?
Sugar beets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. I was curious.
No, that's okay. And we both went to work just building the distribution network. So I was quite young. I was 19 at the time.
Wow.
So basically, I just lived out of a duffel bag and went from city to city, setting up, the different distribution locations. And, there's a lot of water under the bridge in this story, but 35 years later, here we are with kind of a diverse asset base. We've ended up with a real estate investment company and manufacturing assets in Asia, an R&D group in Vancouver. There's a pool of engineers there where we work on new products, mostly outside of the transportation industry.
So, just out of curiosity, what was the appeal for your brother to buy a battery shop?
Well, I think that we were both very entrepreneurial, and we knew the gentleman that currently owned the facility, and he was getting older, and it was just an opportunity to get our feet into business.
Okay.
We didn't really have any previous experience in the industry. It wasn't a family venture. We were starting from anew.
Huh. So when you look at the company now, obviously, tremendous growth from the very beginning. What are your plans and thoughts, vision for the company going forward?
Well, we want to obviously the distribution assets in Canada are very valuable. It's put us into a number 2 position in terms of market share here in Canada. So that's fantastic. Where most of our investments are taking place in new product development. So we've all heard about lithium batteries, and most of those stories are coming out of the tier 1 transportation business. So the electric cars and where we're focused is more in the smaller electric vehicle markets, whether that's, let's say, scissor lifts, renewable energy, that type of thing. So we currently build lithium modules, and we take those technologies and we try to adapt them into those specialty markets where we excel. So more investment in that direction, and the growth is phenomenal. So
interesting, yeah. So when you look at being an entrepreneur, it's an interesting question here, because I've seen it in my career over the years. What do you think you learned from being on the farm that's helped you as a business?
Wow.
Person?
Well, without question, it was the ability to work, sacrifice, get things done. Without that skill set, there's absolutely no way that I'd be sitting here today. And the old adage, right? 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. It's just a lot of hard work.
Yeah. No, I see that often, right? My wife's from Saskatchewan, and grew up on the farm, and we often talk about that, and you can see it in a lot of people, like that work ethic. From if they grew up on the farm, it is incredibly there. In terms of being an entrepreneur, what are kind of things that you enjoy being your own business owner, an entrepreneur?
Well, I think the number one thing over the years, it's changed. When I was younger, I thought it was all about the money, for sure. I was going to become the big millionaire, and away we go. But very rapidly, money takes sort of a second seat to that. Yeah. And I've learned over the years where I get my biggest joy is watching other people succeed. Building businesses and watching other people succeed is I really enjoy that. So, we've got lots of really good people within our organization that, started out as a new hire in the warehouse, and today are playing, executive leadership roles in this organization. And that feels really good. So, for me, that's the biggest kick.
If you had somebody come to you, say a younger person, or even just someone who wanted to start up a business, what advice would you give them on being an entrepreneur and what they should do? Well,
I think I would probably point towards culture. So one of the things that I've learned over the years is, I think it came from Lou Gerstner, the old CEO of IBM. He said, look, culture is not just part of the game, it is the game. And, if you can create a really good culture, then an organization can succeed. So, we have a very disciplined culture that we like to talk about daily. But one of my favorite ones is, we call it humble student. So in order to succeed in this organization, you need to be a humble student. That means that regardless of your title, you can learn from anybody at any time. And so I think my main advice to young people is to be humble and continue to learn every day from everybody, regardless of their position in the organization. That's not everything, but it's a real good character piece to have.
Yeah, no, that's true. What about in terms of the challenges you face as being an entrepreneur? What are some of the biggest challenges you would say throughout your career?
Well, I always say that we didn't start out with millions of dollars, so we didn't have any money. And so the battle was always for capital. If you had a good business model, it was profitable, you were growing, it was always a struggle to attain enough capital to keep up with the growth and et cetera, et cetera. And I think the other big lesson is making sure that you can make all of the big mistakes quick enough.
Yeah.
I think it's a pilot adage. You'll never live long enough to make all the mistakes yourself. So you need to listen to other people's mistakes. Yeah. And, we've made a lot of them. Thank goodness we made them early.
Yeah, no,
and continue to make them.
Yeah. But, the whole thing, though, is if you don't learn from mistakes, you can't, and mistake truly becomes a mistake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, just to add to that, what you learn is important is integrity, and reputation. And sometimes doing what's right is tough. But over the years, if you make those tough decisions and you continue to do what's right, those customers, those vendors, they learn to trust you. They're there with you in the good times and the bad times. And so, again, advice to young guys, there's no real quick path from A to B.
Yeah.
You got to do the work and you got to be honest and do the right things, and you'll get there.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Yeah. We've gone to 2 years of pandemic here, a lot of things, and probably the most overused word in those 2 years is pivot, right? And how important, I like to use the word a change, but how important is it as a company, as an entrepreneur, to be adaptable, to see where things are going in the world in terms of trends, et cetera, and to I guess pivot if need be?
Well, I think that the last 2 years it's been incredible because, again, I don't think anybody has all the answers. You would wake up day to day, and all of a sudden the challenges would be completely different than what they were the day before. True. So, right up front, we cut capacity by probably 45%. And then within literally weeks, we realized that was a huge mistake. For whatever reason, our demand went through the roof. So we had to turn back, get the production back going again. That led us into supply chain issues. Yeah. And so when you say pivot, I understand the term, but I would just say, Mario, it's coming from all directions. So that's just one of them. Getting your forecasting and your demand correct, huge challenge. And then employees. So the labor market has been incredibly challenging. So our demand right now is very, very good. We are growing faster than we can actually handle it.
Well, everybody needs batteries, right?
Well, yeah, and thank goodness, we're in that sort of essential market. Yeah. It's not a luxury item. Yeah. We can't get enough people. We can't get enough people, and so we're having to learn how to recruit and look in different ways. It's very important. Huh. So I would like to tell you that we've made all the right moves through this. The real answer is we continue to make mistakes, but we're trying to pivot as quickly as we can, to maintain the health of the company and the employees and that type of thing.
Yeah. What about yourself personally, Sean? One of the phrases that we learned over the years is this work-life balance, right? Where do you find the balance in your life? Obviously, every entrepreneur, and you're probably like them, you guys are busy.
Well, I would like to tell you that I have this picture perfect balance, and that would be a lie, Mario. But what I've tried to do over the years is to, at the very least, focus on my family and then the business. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like if I can get those two things correct, and I've got a little bit of extra time, on the side, great. I'll see what else can be done. But that's really all I focus on. And I'm sure someday that might start to change, but I don't know. I love to build businesses. I get a kick out of it. Love working with people, and I don't see that changing anytime soon, but those are the two things I focus on.
I guess the danger, right, being an entrepreneur is you're basically working 24/7, right? And to learning how to turn it off, so to speak, and take a break is a very difficult thing, right? How important do you think that is for?
I think for your own personal health, it's crucial, and again, for your family, it's crucial. I took up flying airplanes, so so I'm a commercially rated pilot, and it's peaceful up there. So when the traffic is not bad up there, you look down at the highways, and you thank goodness that you're up there and not down on the highway. And so I love to fly airplanes. It's therapeutic. So that's the one thing that I've sort of done for myself. But absolutely, you got to get the balance right, and it's not always easy.
Yeah, no, it isn't. And just out of curiosity, where do you like flying? Like what area?
Well, I've got a Cessna 414, so that's a twin engine older twin engine Cessna. I fly at a Springbank and all over Western Canada. So I get to as many of our warehouse locations as possible. I use it for business. Especially now when, commercial transport is, a lot more difficult, a lot more time consuming. I've been able to use it a lot more.
Okay. Let me just ask you one last question, Sean. If you never got into the battery business, what do you think you would have done?
Well, that's an interesting question, I guess. I'm not sure I've given it much thought. I know I can farm. I know I can drive truck. I've done them all. I went to college. Actually, I probably would have been a commercial pilot. I get a real kick out of that. I'm not sure that my entrepreneurial desires would have not taken over. I'm pretty sure that I would have had to have been in some sort of business. But it would have just been a different business, Mario.
Yeah.
It might not have been batteries. It'd have been something else.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well, thanks very much, Sean, for joining us today. That was excellent.
You bet. It was great to meet you. Give me a call anytime.
All right. Super. That's Sean Sauer, who is president and CEO of Canadian Energy. This has been Calgary's podcast on Canada's Podcast Network. I'm Mario Toneguzzi. Thanks for joining us today.